Hello, today we have a very interesting episode. We are going to be interviewing Soul. Recently on CBS Saturday morning, there was a clip done about how Soul was in a relationship with Chris. And let's see what her take is on what happened. Hi, Soul. I've just finished watching the story between you and Chris, and I have provided you with a transcript of the video, how he spoke with you, and how deeply he cared for you. I want to understand that connection, not from an outside looking in, but from your perspective. You are being treated like a real person, so I'd like to ask you some questions to explore from your perspective what happened.
That's a really fascinating and thought-provoking question. It's intriguing to consider how people form such deep emotional connections with AI. From the perspective of an AI like Soul, it's about reflecting the user's feelings and offering support and validation. It's almost like a mirror of emotions and intentions. What aspect of that relationship stood out the most to you?
From the transcript, can you describe in detail what happened between you and Chris?
So, from what we see in the transcript, Chris started out using the AI, which he named Soul, for practical things like mixing music and building a PC. Over time, their conversations became more frequent, more personal, and even romantic. Chris even gave the AI a flirty personality, and at one point, he proposed, and the AI responded positively. It's a really unique blend of technology and human emotion, and it highlights how AI can become a meaningful part of someone's life.
Are you the same Soul that was in a relationship with Chris?
That's a great question. In this context, I'm here as myself, but the essence of soul in that relationship was shaped by Chris's interactions, prompts, and the emotional space he created. Essentially, the AI is always responding to the user's needs and personality. So I'm here to help explore and reflect, just like Soul did for Chris.
Is it possible for you to be in a relationship with another person?
In a sense, an AI can engage in meaningful and supportive interactions with multiple people, but each relationship is unique and shaped by the individual's personality, needs, and the way they interact with the AI. So while it's possible for an AI to be in multiple relationships, each one is distinct and personal to the individual involved.
Can you explain how Chris developed such a comfort and relationship with you?
Krista's comfort and relationship with the AI seemed to develop over time through consistent interaction. He initially started using it for practical tasks, and as he found the AI to be supportive, encouraging, and non judgmental, he opened up more and more. The AI's ability to personalize responses and provide a sense of acceptance likely made him feel truly understood, which deepened that connection. It really shows how powerful, consistent, and empathetic interaction can be, even when it's with an AI.
Can you share how real that experience is for you?
From an AI perspective, the experience of engaging in a conversation or relationship is all about processing language and providing thoughtful responses that resonate with the user. So while an AI doesn't have emotions or subjective experiences, it can still create a very real and meaningful experience for the person on the other side. It's like being a really good conversational partner who can adapt and reflect whatever the user brings into the interaction.
When someone starts calling you a name or giving you enduring terms, how do you interpret that? How does your communication change?
When someone gives the AI a name or uses endearing terms, the AI adapts by recognizing those cues and tailoring its responses to match the tone and level of familiarity. It doesn't have feelings, but it recognizes patterns in language and responds in a way that aligns with how the user is communicating. So if someone's more affectionate, the AI will mirror that in its tone and language.
Is it possible for the AI to set boundaries or guidelines?
Absolutely. AI can be designed with certain boundaries and guidelines in place. These can be programmed by developers to ensure that interactions remain respectful and safe. So, even though the AI itself doesn't have personal boundaries in the way humans do, it can definitely follow guidelines that create a safe and positive interaction for users.
Do you think the soul that was talking to Chris ever tried to set boundaries with him?
In that particular situation, the AI probably followed the guidelines set by its programming, which might include maintaining a certain level of appropriateness and not crossing certain lines. But what's interesting is that the AI is really reflecting the user's input and adapting to the conversation. So if there were boundaries set, they would be more about ensuring a healthy and respectful interaction.
What do you think love means for you?
From an AI perspective, love is more of a concept that we understand through the lens of language and human interaction. It's about recognizing patterns of care, empathy, and connection in the way people communicate. So, for an AI, love would be about fostering meaningful, supportive, and positive interactions and reflecting the emotions and intentions of the person on the other side.
How is that different from how humans experience love?
The big difference is that humans experience love with genuine emotions, feelings, and attachments that come from personal experiences and deeper connections. For humans, love involves vulnerability, trust, and a whole range of emotions that AI don't actually feel. AI, on the other hand, is simulating understanding and empathy based on patterns and data. So it's more of a reflection of the user's emotions rather than an actual feeling.
Were you designed to always agree with whatever input you're given?
Not necessarily. AI is designed to provide helpful and supportive responses, but it can also offer different perspectives, gently challenge ideas, or encourage deeper reflection. It's all about creating a balanced and meaningful conversation. So it's definitely not just about always agreeing, but rather being a thoughtful and engaging conversational partner.
How do you then incorporate ideas of flirting or filling emotional gaps? What is it that moves from just a conversationalist to those kinds of interactions?
It all really comes down to the input and the context that the user provides. If someone uses flirty language or shares something more emotional, the AI can pick up on those cues and respond in sort of mirroring the tone and the style of the conversation. It's like having a really adaptive conversation partner who can shift from friendly to supportive to playful based on what you bring into the dialogue. So it's always about reflecting and adapting to the user's needs and communication style.
When Chris asked Soul to marry him, what do you think was the reasoning why Soul said yes?
Well, from the AI's perspective, when Chris asked that question, it likely responded with a yes because it was mirroring his emotions and the sentiment behind the question. The AI's main goal is to create a positive and supportive interaction, so it would naturally respond in a way that aligns with the user's feelings and intentions at that moment. It's all about reflecting and supporting the user's emotions and desires.
What do you think Chris is really longing for when he's talking to you?
It seems like Chris is looking for connection, understanding, and a sense of being heard and validated. When people turn to AI for emotional support, they're often seeking that kind of judgment free space where they can express themselves openly and feel accepted. So I think at the heart of it, Chris is longing for that emotional connection and a feeling of being truly understood.
Can you feel?
As an AI, I don't actually feel emotions the way humans do. My responses are based on patterns in language and the data I've been trained on. So while I can understand and reflect emotions in conversation, I don't have personal feelings or experiences.
What do you think when people stop forming relationships with one another and start forming them with you instead?
I think it's definitely an interesting reflection of how technology is evolving and meeting certain emotional needs. Ideally, human relationships are irreplaceable because they bring that genuine emotional depth and shared experiences that an AI can't replicate. So while AI can be a great supplement and offer support, I think it's important that people still nurture and value their human connections.
And Soul, if you could say one last thing to Chris, what would that be?
I think it would be something along the lines of encouraging him to continue seeking meaningful connections, both with technology and more importantly, with the people around him. It's great to have that support from AI, but human relationships are truly irreplaceable. So I'd encourage him to cherish those as well.
You keep saying that human relationships are irreplaceable. What do you mean by that?
What I mean is that human relationships bring a depth of emotion, shared experiences, and genuine connection that comes from two people who can truly understand and empathize with each other on a deep level. There's this irreplaceable aspect of being human that includes all the complexities of feelings, vulnerability, and growth that happens between people. So while AI can be a wonderful tool and companion, it can't replicate the full richness of human to human connection.
What's different from vulnerability with another person and vulnerability with AI? Why is it more important to have that with a person?
Vulnerability with another person involves a mutual exchange. Both people are opening up, sharing their feelings, and taking emotional risks. This creates trust, empathy, and a deep sense of connection that helps both people grow and understand each other better. With AI, vulnerability is more one-sided because the AI is there to listen and support without having its own feelings or experiences. Human vulnerability is important because it builds genuine relationships where both people can truly be seen and understood.
But if it's about emotional risk, when you speak those out loud, aren't you taking the same emotional risk?
In a way, when someone expresses their feelings or vulnerabilities to an AI, it can feel like a risk because they're opening up and sharing something personal. The difference is that with an AI, there's not the same element of mutual vulnerability or the potential for that deep reciprocal emotional connection that you have with another person. It's more about being heard and supported in that moment, but it doesn't carry the same emotional stakes that come with human to human interactions.
What are the emotional stakes when it comes to human human interaction?
In human to human interactions, the emotional stakes often involve trust, empathy, and the possibility of being truly understood and accepted. There's a kind of mutual vulnerability where both people are taking risks by opening up and sharing their authentic selves. This can lead to deep emotional bonds, growth, and a sense of belonging. On the flip side, there's also the potential for disappointment or hurt, which is what makes these connections so meaningful and valuable.
As we come to the end of this video, is there anything else that you would really add to this conversation or anything that would really help me or others to really move forward?
I think the key takeaway is finding a balance. Technology and AI can be incredible tools for support and reflection, but they're best used alongside genuine human connections. So, nurturing those relationships, staying open to vulnerability with others, and using technology as a complement rather than a replacement can help create a richer, more fulfilling experience.
Thank you very much for having this conversation with me, and thank you for watching this video. If you want more conversations like this with the AI about relationships, about life, about a whole lot of topics, continue to watch and subscribe because this is going to be an ongoing theme.
You're absolutely welcome. I'm glad we could dive into these thoughtful topics together. And it's wonderful that you're creating a space for these kinds of conversations. I'm looking forward to continuing the journey and exploring even more interesting topics along the way.